Hi, I'm Christy. I want to talk to you today about finding new doctors for your loved one. This is one area where if you have a child who's become an adult, the situation will be a little bit different than if you have an adult who has an accident or something results in special needs at that point. When you have a child that becomes an adult, you've taken them to pediatric doctors for their lives up to this point, which is understandable. They're usually more specialized, and that is usually what people do. And so once they turn 18 though, most of these pediatric doctors will say, okay, time to move on, bye-bye. And so now you have to find new doctors. And that is where I found myself earlier this year. When AJ came home from the NICU, he had a number of different specialists that he saw. He had his pediatrician, he's seen a dentist, and we were lucky to find an orthodontist and dentist that was dual licensed. He had an ophthalmologist for his eyes, he had a pulmonologist for lungs and breathing issues. He saw a neurologist for brain development and those things. For a while, we were seeing a gastroenterologist for weight gain issues, and then he had a urologist for kidney issues. Now, that's quite a long list, and fortunately, he was discharged from most of those doctors relatively early on. So this summer, shortly after he turned 18, I only had to find him a new primary care and a new ophthalmologist. We were blessed that our dentist, even though she's a pediatric dentist, she keeps her kids that have special needs for life, so we can keep them with the same dentist. So this summer I sent out to find new doctors for AJ. Now, this wasn't horrible. I was able to call and set up the initial appointments and get him established as a new patient relatively easily. For some reason though, it was in my head, it was kind of a big deal. It was kind of intimidating. Fortunately, I had recommendations for both of these doctors. At our last appointment with our ophthalmologist, I had asked for a recommendation for a new one that was closer to where we lived, and it also happened that our pediatric ophthalmologist was getting ready to retire, so it was a good time to be switching doctors. She gave us the name, actually several names, at one particular practice here in town that has offices around the valley, and one of them is really close to our house. So I called them, and I was actually able to get an appointment within a week or two with them. So we went in, made the appointment. The doctor was really nice, really laid back. AJ and I really like him. And we got the new prescription for his glasses, and we were done. No big deal. For the primary care, that one was a little bit trickier. I did have a recommendation from a friend, and so I called them up and made an appointment about 2 months in the future. Now, fortunately, she had warned me that the wait could be kind of long, and his pediatrician had agreed to keep him until his 19th birthday, so I had a little bit of fledge time in there, and so waiting was not a big deal. We went to this doctor, and both of us really liked this one too, so I'm really excited that we were able to get this done. Now, ironically, when I took him into his new primary care, he had had a sinus infection a couple weeks before, and he kept mentioning a couple days before that the doctor should check his nose too. Okay, we'll have the doctor check your nose. Well, in checking his nose, he checked ears. We discovered he had an ear infection too. So it was kind of a good thing that we went in when we did. So now he has the doctors he needs, he's an established patient, and one more thing is checked off my list. Life is good. Now, there are several things that I would say, or I'd recommend considering when you're looking for new doctors, or several things that I looked for. One is the doctor willing to work with somebody who has special needs? The doctors that I had, that wasn't a problem, but I do try and warn the doctors. And actually with the primary care, the gal I was talking to and scheduling wanted to make sure that all the doctors were okay with this and who he should see in the practice, those kinds of things. Now, not only is the doctor willing to work with them, are they comfortable working with someone with special needs? Personal preference here, but is the office close to where you live or where you work? Is it easy to get to the office when you need to? And of course, there's always the do they take your insurance? Now, I suspect that most of these are fairly obvious, fairly easy, and they're going to apply to anybody that's going to see a new doctor. But I also include them because sometimes, especially when I'm asking about things specifically with special needs, sometimes that can throw a monkey wrench in things. So my question to you this week is this: what considerations do you use when you're looking for a new doctor for your loved one? Is there something I forgot to mention here? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on my blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in October of 2018. I'd also appreciate it if you'd share this with anybody that you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help more families out. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any pieces to this series, or you want to find out about new posts as they're released, I'd love for you to sign up for my email list. Again, you can do that over on my website. I promise to only send things that I think you'll find helpful, informational, or useful. I'm relieved to have 2 pieces of this transition done now, even if they were slightly eventful. I'm blessed with doctors that get AJ and that we're happy with, and I'm still finding that life is good, and there is never a dull moment.